Welcome back. It's Game 3, Battle Arena. We're here. This is Ugly Tuco, joined by the Lanzolini.
Not just your regular Lanzolini.
The Lanzolini.
Yes.
As we listen
and I
to...
am excited for this Garen right here. It's gonna be the Juggernaut.
I was so excited to see Garen, I had to play some John Cena. The time is now.
Yes.
I'm really excited to see this. But yes, this is Battle Arena. We're part of the Trinity Force Network. Basically, anybody gold and below can join in these custom games. We stream them live on our channels every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Basically, what we just try to do is watch the games, stream them. We comment and provide feedback to any questions you have. And basically, we just try to hope that everybody learns and improves at the game while we do this, including us. We learn something new every time. So go ahead and join. It's a lot of fun. The rules are basically no team speak. We try to simulate solo queue. Number 2, if you see harassment or verbal abuse, things that get you reported for in the Riot Terms of Agreement, go ahead and screenshot it, send it to us, and we will take care of it as quickly as possible. And finally, the most important thing is to have fun. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and turn down Mr. John Cena as much as I love him. And we're going to go ahead and look at some of these picks and bans and see what you think about them. It looks like last game we saw Mordekaiser, and it looks like this game we're going to be able to see Garen.
And it looks kind of like there's good synergy with Jinx's hyper carry in the late game with the Nunu Blood Boil is always really good to have on. And the Nunu Blood Boil is also kind of good on Garen because you're able to just rush in there like you don't give a crap because you got the Blood Boil, it gives you the movement speed. However, on the opposite side, there's a lot of CC coming in. If they lock in this Vigor, that's going to be a lot of crowd control to get through. You got the Cage, you got the Alistar Headbutt and Pulverize, you got the Maokai, and then of course the Warwick stun. So this is going to be a lot of CC for Garen to have to get through.
It is. And the tenacity was removed on his W, if I remember correctly. So that.
But on the other hand, they do have Jinx, and she's able to stay. If you look at the CC, the only ranged CC they kind of have is like the Warwick and the Cage. The Warwick, if he uses it on the Jinx, the LeBlanc might have free reign.
Yeah.
Vice versa. So they're gonna have to be very particular with their CC. But it could end up that red team kind of just everyone just kind of gets hit by the Cage, and then blue team just wipes them in a team fight.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to be careful of the CC that they put down because there is a lot of it, and they're gonna be beefy too.
Yeah, also, if Warwick chooses to decide to ult Jinx, Thresh should be able to dislodge Thresh pretty easily with a quick flay.
Yeah.
That might be Thresh's focus.
But Thresh does get kind of outranged by the Vigor Cage, so if Thresh can get taken down pretty quickly, Thresh isn't like a lot of other supports where he just kind of gets, if he gets taken out, he can get taken out. He's one of those supports that isn't tanky, even though he's kind of like that brawler type support. So he can get taken out if he gets hit by a Vigor Cage and then just exploded. So. But on the same token as that, they have a lot of CC, but not a lot of burst. Vigor takes a while to kind of ramp up. There's no Victor. But,
well, yeah, it seems like Caitlyn is very strong early game, has a lull in the mid game, and then spikes back up late game.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing too much damage mid game for blue team.
Yeah, me neither. This looks like a late game. We got the early game going on with the Caitlyn. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do down in the bot lane. Caitlyn's going to have to do a lot of work, and Alistar can just kind of sit around, because Caitlyn's got to be able to do the harass on the Thresh and on the Jinx, and Alistar's going to be there to make sure that she doesn't get hit back.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot that Alistar can do, or the Jinx and the Thresh can really do.
Yeah.
If Caitlyn plays this right, they should be able to get that kind of advantage and hopefully transfer that into something else. But it should be kind of like that game 1 that we saw. The bot lane should be kind of, pretty passive on both sides. you know, the Jinx and the Thresh are gonna get pretty much poked down from the Caitlyn auto attacks, and then try not to die, and then Caitlyn can't go all in. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, she's very like if Alistar decides to go all in, Caitlyn can only back it up so much. If she decides to use an ability, it roots her in place. And
that's why they need the Warwick to come down, but Warwick isn't going to be that effective until level 6.
Yeah.
I mean, the Caitlyn trap is actually very, very useful to go along with a support that has some CC. So if you play with someone like Caitlyn Morgana is a really good lane, because if Morgana lands the binding, Caitlyn can put down the trap right underneath them and then trap them as soon as the binding wears off.
Yeah.
And that could be really strong, because that's a long time for you not to be moving. And then they could follow up on top of that. But with what they have right now, they're going to need some more jungle pressure to really secure this lane, and Warwick isn't going to have the ability to do that until a while.
Yeah. It's a weird team comp for blue team. Caitlyn really is going to have to be, if she isn't ahead in the mid game, they're not going to have a lot of damage. And they're going to have to rely on picks, I feel like, almost, instead of a full-on team fight, because they aren't going to be able to... Jinx can just... Yeah. There's a lot more damage available through purple team, especially in the mid game. Both LeBlanc and Jinx can just ramp up in team fights, and...
That's true. I'm still interested in seeing what Garen's role is going to be in all this.
Yeah, Garen.
If Caitlyn gets ahead with some kills, the true damage that Garen's going to deal could be enough to just take her out of everything.
True. She might be the what's it called? The nemesis. The villain.
The villain, I think.
The villain, right?
She's
and that's
the villain of the story of this game.
And
so
that's the
therefore,
person who has the last kill.
I think it's like the last kill or whoever's the most fed.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's like whoever got the last kill, then I would just like, as playing support, I would just get like the last kill and be like, "Come at me, Garen. Yeah, kill me. I'm the support." Yeah. Oh man, you got me. You killed me. Yay.
Yeah. Mid lane's gonna be... LeBlanc can also bully out Veigar too. It's hard to lay a stun down on LeBlanc.
That's true, but you get caught in the Veigar cage and the jungler comes up. You only got like one poof before level 6.
Yeah.
And when it comes to level 6, Veigar ultimate might be enough to just kill him. Though he did not take Ignite on the Veigar.
No, he did not. He's playing more defensively.
Yeah, Barrier is a good good pick against that.
Yeah, I think so.
Because LeBlanc, like we said the other game, there's no reason for Blanc not to go Ignite.
I
think
think
heal against that will just kind of diminish the effectiveness.
We may have criticized Azir in the first game a bit too much for Barrier. It's fine mid lane. It works.
I usually pick that or heal depending on who I'm up against, really. The Barrier is good if they don't have Ignite, and it's good against like bursts and stuff like that. But sometimes it doesn't even matter. One time I played a game where I was playing Victor against a Veigar, and like I would preemptively Barrier when I went to go try to one-shot him, because if he was able to get like a Q and an ult on me, I would die because he was like so farmed, and his ult did a crap ton of damage. And I would still die if I had the Barrier. It's pretty ridiculous, the Veigar damage. So that's going to be something that LeBlanc's going to have to watch out for.
It is. And I'm looking top lane. I feel like Garen is he still keeps a pretty similar identity. He kind of becomes a lane bully around level 4 and 5.
It's just a constant spinning.
Yeah, once he gets like 2 or 3 points into his spin, he can really harass you out of lane, especially if you aren't ranged. But if Maokai can kind of hang on and not give up a kill early on, he can really itemize really well against Garen.
I mean, Garen doesn't have a direct escape.
Yeah.
And now with the removed tenacity, right, like you said on the W, then like coming up with CC with Warwick should be able to secure a kill. But that's also around level 6.
I don't see a lot of kill potential coming out of top lane. If Warwick ganks top, like who between him and Maokai is gonna bring the damage? They can do it really early on, but once things start to get going, there's not a lot of kill pressure from that. They have the CC. They just
Garen's
don't.
going to be pushing because his E chops down the minions a lot.
And
once he pushes in, it's going to allow keep him open for ganks. And since he doesn't have an escape, he is open for ganks. But it's hard. It's definitely hard to kill a Garen for sure. And if Warwick doesn't do damage, doesn't do very much damage, and Maokai doesn't do very much damage. So
Yeah. If
but who knows? With these new Garen changes, he might be as soft as a pillow. I doubt it, but because the word Juggernaut usually doesn't translate to pillow,
it does
we'll
not.
Find out.
I
I haven't seen it. I wouldn't know.
was looking at the jungle matchup, and Nunu can really screw with Warwick if Warwick decides to go Devourer.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Warwick has always been that jungler that just farms till 6 and then actually starts doing something.
Yeah.
So if Nunu recognizes the matchup, then he should be able to go in and counter jungle and stunt his growth in the jungle and be able to, just steal his stuff. And Nunu's kind of like that, derpy little jungler that like wobble, 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 and you're waddles like into your jungle, and then you watch him steal your stuff, and there's nothing you can do.
Nope.
Because what are you gonna do? Kill him? He's just gonna slow you and walk away. So. The only chance they really have is warding up and making sure Nunu doesn't come down. But if Nunu doesn't play it correctly and just farms his own jungle, then it's really not taking advantage of the pick.
Yeah, true. And look, the gank potential for both junglers is kind of meh. Once Warwick gets his ult, his gank is really, really strong. But it doesn't mean that their counter ganks can't be very strong. Nunu's counter gank can be really strong. But
oh yeah. Especially if you pull that shenanigans where you hide up in the top turret for the counter gank, or hide up in the top bush, and then they start killing your top laner. Then all of a sudden they're getting slowed for whatever reason, and then boom.
Yeah.
No one ever expects the counter gank with the Nunu ult.
Nope. All right, so I'm kind of liking what I see from both teams here. They're kind of all across they're laid out across both their jungle entrances. They're trying to just see where the enemy team is and try to spot out early invades. That's what I like to see, especially from
the Maokai E's, for sure.
Yeah,
free E's. The mana's going to regen by the time you get to lane.
Yep.
And lets you see stuff. It's great.
Both Maokai and Garen, I like what they're doing positioning-wise. It looks like both junglers are going to start on the bot side of the jungle. Warwick will get red early. I don't really see him getting a early red. Some jugglers can pull off a level 2 or level 3 gank with red and try to get something going early, but I don't think Warwick is one of those.
Yeah, I mean, if in order for Warwick to get that kind of gank, the laners would have to provide the CC. And bot lane's got some pretty good CC. If the bot lane hits level 2, and Alistar is able to pull off the Headbutt Pulverize combo, and Caitlyn's able to put the trap right underneath that, they might have something there, but that is pretty hard to pull off.
It is. It's very hard.
Yeah, and it requires a lot of communication. So don't be in TeamSpeak.
I might recommend for Maokai to maybe try taking the camp early on. He has the ability to with his saplings. Maybe see if you can find a pro replay of someone doing that, just to see if it might work out for you. It could really work out for you, but I'm not 100% sure, to tell the truth. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess just with this whole new teleport meta, getting that one jungle cab before teleporting up to your lane is just something that's kind of new, and not everyone is really comfortable with it, except for those that have really followed how the meta's running.
Yeah.
So spot lane, they hit level 2 at the same time. That's kind of a missed opportunity for the Caitlyn.
Yeah. It looks like she's still going to be able to zone here. Oh.
Yeah.
Nice trade there by Jinx.
Garen did hit level 2 before Maokai, and he is kind of bullying him out already. Okay, at half.
Yeah, he's bullying him out.
Are you watching this? The Nunu was just kind of taking the blue buff, and oh my, he was sitting right behind him, just waiting.
Oh
See,
man.
that's the thing with Nunu, is that if you're gonna go steal a buff, you should probably have it warded in some capacity. Oh, down in the bot lane, we got some CC, but no trap thrown down from the Caitlyn. She did not put a point into her W. She put a point into E.
That's okay, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but if when you hit level 2 first, and you have all that CC with Alistar, and you're running with this lane that's so, that has all that CC, it's kind of Alistar had a great pulverize, walk behind them, headbutt them back, and there was no CC to kind of follow up on that, so it's unfortunate.
Mid lane things are happening too. This is a pretty action-packed game.
Yeah, there's stuff going all over the map. I mean, I kind of want to go back to that Nunu because like he went to go steal the blue buff, which is something Nunus are supposed to do, but literally for like 5 seconds the Warwick was just sitting in the bush watching him take his blue buff and then killed him right before he could do anything, which is like, you know, it should have been avoidable by putting down a ward or even taking the camp in the bush, because if you take the camp in the bush, then you're able to, if someone's going to come kill you through the bush, you'll be able to see them because you're in there. You know?
Yeah.
And the bot lane doesn't seem to be...
Oh, there's a hook.
That is...
Where are the Jinx traps?
Yeah. Alistar doing a great job with headbutting out the AD carry, so she couldn't do any more damage. That's exactly how you're supposed to play Alistar when your AD carry eats a hook.
Yep.
I've played a lot of Alistar recently, and the thing I've noticed is that, like, you're just, like, in the earlier levels, unless you're trying to kill them, you're there to headbutt somebody to stop them from killing your AD carry.
Yeah.
And then you're like super pro, and your Lee Sin jungle comes to gank at like level 2. You can headbutt pulverize them. You're just like kind of standing around. But that's great play from the Alistar.
Oh, junglers are meeting up again.
Yeah.
Nunu has red buff this time, but I don't think he can duel War.
Yeah.
Ooh, actually,
he should be able to duel him, but he won't be. He's definitely gonna.
That's a flash used by. I don't know if that's a good use of flash. I feel like
he might be able. He might be able to just waddle away. I mean, that's what he's good for.
Does Nunu not have blood boil?
He used it at one point when he started to duel him.
All right.
LeBlanc is looking for something, gonna poof and throw a chain out, and then that's about it.
Top lane, they're trading a bit.
Yep. They're gonna go in on Jinx down here. That's a pretty good headbutt pulverize. And I think with Alistar, I commend it for headbutting someone into the wall.
As Alistar, you can be offensive and use headbutt pulverize like that.
If you see, when you see the opportunity to headbutt someone like into the wall, because that's kind of like a stun in itself. Because when you headbutt somebody and they go flying somewhere, and then they're out of range of everything, but you headbutt them like into the wall that's right next to them, then they're not going to be able to move anywhere. And it's almost like a stun. So that's good play by the Alistar.
Yeah, like right now he has no mana though. I don't think he can pull off a combo here for like another 10-20 seconds. But
it's kind of hard to play with Alistar.
Alistar is a little bit more.
Garen going for the kill, gonna force the flash.
Jeez. I was gonna say Alistar really does. He doesn't mind being a passive in lane and looking for opportunities. You don't have to. You don't force opportunities with Alistar. I feel like.
Yeah, it's true.
Just look for him, but yeah.
I feel like if there was just a little bit more awareness coming from the Caitlyn to throw down the trap, then it would be much more effective. But
I think Garen's about to tower dive here. I'm not sure though.
He already blew his ultimate. So
okay, all right.
It's gonna be one of those. If he's gonna dive, I feel like it would still be one for one. The mid lane is kind of close. It's 38 to the 54 in farm. Blanc's definitely getting down, but he looks like he's gonna win that trade.
Yeah, LeBlanc is starting to out-trade Veigar here. Unless Veigar lands a stun, that's going to be the case every time.
Yeah.
Jinx almost... She's really low right now.
She almost died, yeah. If Caitlyn was level 6, that would have been a kill.
Yeah, she's going to go ahead and back. Not the... It's fine. I wonder what her gold is right now. It's 1600. So she can get a BF sword. Which she does. Alright, cool. And she's gonna come back. She'll lose a little bit on this wave, not too much though.
When you're laning against a Caitlyn, you have to expect to just kind of like lose the lane at some point. I mean, unless your jungler is like, you know, one of those junglers that have really good early game and CC, like at Elise or something. Warwick just or Nunu just kind of isn't that. Unless they land a God Hook and they get Nunu in there, that lane's gonna be really hard to go up against.
Yeah.
But I say this, and then the Thresh did land one really, really good hook, so.
Yeah, looks like Caitlyn. Caitlyn will get a BF sword too, and then she also buys a green ward and a pink ward. Yeah, which I guess I guess her gold The amount of gold she had really makes sense. She can really afford boots at the time, and 2 health pots is just it's fine. That's really not a big deal. But
they're gonna try to catch out Maokai here.
Yeah.
Warwick's coming to back him up. They're just gonna probably back off of this. Yep. See, the scuttle crabs are something that are like really good for Nunu to take. Allows them to just kind of keep going between the jungles, and they're easy for him to take since Consume does a lot of damage, and the slow really slows him down. Oh, LeBlanc misses the chain, but so does the cage. This is like game of trades here in the mid
Yeah.
lane. No one really coming out with a kill.
Alistar's gonna go for a headbutt pulverize. I feel like he could have
Standing right on top of the
pulverized.
lantern.
I feel like he
Great.
could have pulverized first there. He might have been within
Yeah.
range, then
And
knocked
meanwhile,
Jinx
also up in the
back.
top lane, Garen's also getting ganked. This is what I was talking about before. Like, you can gank him once he gets like level 6.
Yeah.
But on the same token, he's also a Garen, and he probably won't die.
Oh.
But he's still gonna go for it, and he gets it. And he
Oh, and there's
flashes
the
out.
flash.
That was a good dive, I think, by Warwick. But he's
Yeah, I
still
think
low
it
health.
was.
Maokai
Nunu
might be able to survive here.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be okay. So that's what I was saying before. So
did
you can
Garen
go
have
on
ultimate up for that?
I think he did.
It would have been nice to see him at least use it.
Yeah. It's just like you can totally like gank that Garen, but he's got to be pretty far pushed up for Warwick and Maokai to do enough damage in order to take him out.
Yeah.
That's a good knock up.
Whoa,
there.
Garen
Good
bot
ball.
lane.
Garen bot lane. Zophor's gonna go try to get down on that that Caitlyn, but the Alistar are doing a lot of work when it comes to peeling people off of his AD carry, so that's good job.
I feel like that wasn't communicated with Thresh and Jinx there. They're almost within kill range for his ult.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I think there's a thread up on like the League of Legends subreddit that says like when you gank without pinging first, it's kind of like making a turn without putting your blinker on.
Yeah.
So I always make sure to do like the I'm coming ping right on top of their character so they will definitely see it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm coming. If you're looking at your character, then you know.
Looks like Garen's trying to make the most of his trip, and which I don't blame him. That's something you really, when you do roam like that and leave your lane, you really need to try to make the most of it. So hopefully they can complete this. Warwick's really nearby. He has ult and smite down probably.
They should be able to consume ult that the air consume smite, and they will get it. That's a good Lancer from Thresh. Thresh should be able to get him out of this. He just needs to put down the box. Yep. There we go. And
very nice play by Thresh. Oh, there's the flash. Oh.
It's a good flash, but I'm not. I think Thresh will be the only.
Oh no, he's gonna flash away. They get away with it.
They should be able to get out of this. A lot of summoners blown.
Jinx is in trouble, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And now Garen's just between a rock and a hard place, and now it's just a full-on brawl between the two teams.
Luckily, that's an execute for Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Nice kill by LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Pretty even trades overall, even though Caitlyn was an execute. Red team did get the dragon.
There's a 2-for-1 technically since the Caitlyn got an execute, and then red team did get a dragon, but they're.
I would recommend next time Thresh go from here and throw the lantern out from across the wall so that they can grab it to safety. But other than that, that was a pretty good play by him.
Yeah, I really like the fact noticing that, like, all right, they're coming up on us. We got the dragon. Our best course of action is just to book it.
Yeah.
And put down the ultimate to zone them off.
That was very good, very good.
That's exactly how you're supposed to play Thresh disengage.
Yep.
Really good job. And that hook and that lantern, great play. Now it's just it's kind of, I guess it's kind of like an even trade. You know, they expected when you're playing against like a Caitlyn, you expect to lose the bot lane turret. You know, before you get theirs. And so they lost that, and then they got the dragon. So I guess it's kind of like more of like an even trade. But Warwick is kind of getting more out of the jungle than Nunu is. I feel Nunu's still sitting on boots 1. Warwick's got Moby boots plus.
So I guess Warwick really is trying to look to. I don't know about Moby boots for jungle Warwick. I do like Moby boots on most junglers, but with Warwick, I don't know.
Yeah, your ultimate isn't. I don't think your ultimate's like up enough for that to really be like a very successful purchase, since like your ganking power is really reliant on your ultimate.
And it's a gap closer in itself, so your boots of mobility are gone once you use your ultimate. You know?
Yeah. Oh,
whoa!
There goes Thresh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get hit by the box, and LeBlanc just poofed right into the cage. This is the CC that they're gonna get down on Jinx. It's just blue team's putting wards all up in their jungle, and that's what's gonna take them down.
Yep.
The red wards by the dragon, they were good for when dragon was up, but then once they lost that bottom turret, that's the time where you need to ward your blue buff. Because that's gonna open up the bottom section of the map. So let's look at the CS. We got Viger's doing a pretty good job, and he's gonna scale harder. So he's at 2-0 with 115. LeBlanc is 91 with 1-0. So I'm interested to see who can pull off the better.
Yeah.
You know, the most impact coming up in this kind of mid-gamey place. And flashes right into the cage, and he's going to be taken down by that Veigar ultimate. That cage is really hard to get through, man. That's a lot of CC.
It's interesting seeing blue team being so aggressive. Their mid-game is coming up, and they're trying to get things done as soon as possible before then, I feel like.
Yeah. It feels like blue team's making the moves and putting down the wards, and red team's just reacting a little bit too slow in order to catch them. They're always one step behind.
Like you can see blue team's wards here, how deep they are in the enemy jungle. They even have a deep pink ward. Like blue team is setting they're being the ones, they're being proactive. They aren't reacting to the
definitely pushing their advantage for sure.
Especially in comparison to red teams. Well, red team has their own top side warded okay, but it really pairs in comparison to how blue team has been warding.
Yeah, I feel like LeBlanc could have gone for more damage there instead of just poofing away. And this is the point where, oh, good dodge from Jinx. It's kind of hard to click around in that tiny little Veigar cage without accidentally walking through the wall. Looks like
we're going.
Here.
Garen's trying to get something going.
A lot of CC, yeah.
I feel like they can keep going. I feel like they have a okay advantage here numbers-wise. Caitlyn's a little far away now that she's finally joined the fight.
Yeah. Alistar's probably going to try to go in here, and he's going to blow his ultimate, and now...
Oh, there's a hook on a...
Down. They should be able to get something out of this. Garen's going to go straight to the back line, and he's going to zone everyone off with his ultimate.
A little early on the Garen ult.
Blows somebody up. The Garen blew his ultimate, but he's still got a Maokai to take down. Everyone's getting really low, and that will pick up another kill by the Caitlyn. Let's see if
whoa, the Q
walks right into the Veigar.
Yeah. Garen.
And that's gonna be another kill for him. Garen's like the only one still left alive. He's gonna be able to get away from that. But that was a team fight of opportunity there for LeBlanc to do some cleanup.
I don't understand how Caitlyn was able to not die.
Yeah, Garen just ran straight after, and I wasn't paying attention to that part of the fight since they were both running so far away.
Yeah, I feel like Jinx could have thrown. That's one thing that makes Thresh Jinx lane so strong is that if Thresh lands a hook, Jinx can just throw her traps right on top of the person and extend the CC a long time. I'm just wondering if her traps might have been on cooldown or something.
Traps, or we needed the ultimate by Jinx wasn't even fired, which is another thing that really needed to happen. All the other ultimates were used in that fight by like pretty much everybody on both teams. The Jinx rocket did not come out, and with the amount of health bars that you could see at the end of that fight, it was definitely needed to pull a victory out of that one. They're still very close with that fight. They're still down by 8 or so kills and about 7k, but they do have one dragon up.
Yeah, they're falling a little bit behind. They need to start picking their fights a bit more wisely. They have increased their wards on their side of the map a lot, you can see. Yeah. But blue team still has they have some pretty decent ward coverage in the enemy jungle, so it's pretty even right now, I think, between the teams.
But like, no vision on Dragon's gonna make this one right here.
It makes it an easy drag for blue team.
I mean, I play support as my main role, and I'm always hitting tab to see what the Dragon timer is. Every time we finish a fight, every time I go back, I take a look at that timer and If Dragon's
Thresh
in
is
1
re-
minute
oh.
or 1 minute 30 or less, I make sure to go put just one ward down there because that's gonna help everyone out a lot. Even if the ward gets destroyed, you know that it's been destroyed.
Alistar's going in for an engage. That's really aggressive of him. I don't think.
Now,
Yeah,
now that his ultimate is down, he's really vulnerable to
Yeah.
damage. And Blanc does
Initiating as Alistar is very tricky.
Yeah. Veigar's gonna go down. Now it's Alistar versus the world, and Jinx is able to get some damage on the backline. That's that's gonna be a 2 for 0. They might be able to get this turret here with the Jinx rockets. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, I don't think anything else is gonna happen from it though.
Garen take her out. No.
Oh!
And Garen's gonna not get that kill.
Warwick himself takes down Jinx and just walks away. Whoa. I'm curious as to how Warwick is able to get a full ult off on Jinx.
Yeah,
but once again, Jinx didn't use ult during that whole time either. There's some
another good hook, but no follow-up. They should be able to get this.
They should.
Alright, there we go. Okay.
Alright.
That was a great hook on Jinx. It's just that there's not. It seems like no one's noticing it, maybe because there's not enough follow-up.
Well, like he got the hook on Caitlyn and Garen went in, and then Warwick ulted Jinx, which forced the rest of the team to converge on her, but it wasn't enough to save her. And Warwick got away too, which was really curious.
And Warwick is really far ahead at this point. I mean, like you look down, he's 6-1.
He's really strong.
Yeah. And you could tell when Warwick's strong is when he's got a lot of health and when he's he's auto attacking faster. Like, you gotta watch out for that guy because next thing you know,
this Alistar is aggressive and alpha. Whoa.
Yeah, that was a little bit. That wasn't very smart of LeBlanc going in there, getting caught in the cage. You get caught in that cage for just once as LeBlanc versus Veigar, and you're just going to die.
Yeah.
That ultimate against LeBlanc is just way too strong. You have to be able to dodge the cage, and that's pretty much the only counterplay you have against the Veigars to dodge the cage. Dodge it or get hit by it and cleanse it. So hopefully he'll get a QSS if he's able to, get that going.
Yeah, QSS wouldn't be the worst idea for Jinx or LeBlanc.
Yeah,
maybe LeBlanc, but yeah, I won't be surprised to see. I think Thresh right now is building a Mikhails, which actually is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I was saying that Thresh, LeBlanc should build a QSS in order to get out of the Veigar cage, which is Saber, or the Warwick ultimate. And it's just they have such these really, really tough CCs that are just really hard
that
to
is
get through.
one thing to know is that Mikhails will not stop Warwick ultimate. It doesn't stop channels. So like Malzahar and Warwick ultimate, but it's still it'll help with the Veigar stun wall.
There it is right there. It's a lot of damage coming.
It is a lot of damage. The on hit from
both W and all the whole poofs and a flash.
Yeah.
It still works. Able to chase him down, and you might be able to get the summoners of Jinx as well. Does she have anything like an ultimate? She's got it.
She does have ulti. There it is. Unfortunately,
yeah.
Blue team's still gonna be able to take. Like they've gotten so far ahead. Their mid game level doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. The Warwick is far enough ahead where you can get an ult off and not get punished for it, even if it's like 1v3.
Interesting teleport coming in from Garen.
Yeah, he doesn't really have the health to take down what they have at the moment. This is where like Caitlyn's, pretty happy to be in this position since she's 2-1, has 122 farm, which is or she's still losing in farm, but she's able to kind of auto attack at the distance, and Warwick is putting on that pressure on the rest of the team where she's just able to auto attack freely.
One thing I want to say is that I know Garen has been diving the enemy backline a lot during these fights, but currently his villain is Warwick, and Warwick's been ulting Jinx or LeBlanc at will.
Nice hook. He can't even go anywhere
nope.
after that.
Oh.
Good job.
Wow.
I love it when the hook just brings someone over the threshold,
yeah.
like a wall or something. That happens like so rarely that you have to hook them when they're exactly on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, I was saying that Garen, he's been diving the backline of the enemy team quite a bit, but
yeah, the villain's
Warwick, and he's diving your backline. It might behoove him to focus
silence
Warwick.
Him, maybe.
Yeah, it might benefit him to focus Warwick that next fight, even if he mins defending for a bit, because that true damage might help in taking Warwick down fast enough to help his team and turn the tide of the fight. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, Caitlyn is kind of far ahead, and she is getting those free auto attacks off during the fight. But Warwick is probably the biggest threat over
Yeah,
here
Warwick is. He's the.
And Garen has the tools to stop him from doing Warwick things by silencing him with his Q and just doing a lot of true damage. Oh, and LeBlanc's gonna get caught out here. She should be able to get away with it. Nope, guess not. I don't know where the poof was there. She should have been able to get through the gate.
Yeah.
With the W.
Jinx needs to back now. She shouldn't have gone back to turret. Now she's trapped.
Yeah. Very trapped. The one thing you can do is just
run. No, don't
flash.
go under tower. Oh, missed the flash over the wall.
Yeah, she missed the flash, and now she's just gonna. Nunu ultimate. I don't think it's good.
Oh, Nunu ultimate helps take out Caitlyn.
They're gonna go after Warwick here. Thresh Hook is not gonna land on him because Maokai was body blocking, and now it's a 3 versus 1. 3 meatballs versus 1 meatball, and 3 meatballs win.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like that's like a wet noodle fight when you look at like Nunu versus, like Nunu, Garen, Thresh versus like Warwick, Alistar, Maokai. That's like, you know, wet noodle fight over there. Big noodle party. So let's look at the wards here. Red team's got some good wards, and they're in the jungle. They got some pinks, but they don't have a lot of wards.
No, wait, did they?
Pretty much anywhere. They have wards that are like really close to their base, like really defensive wards.
To be fair, blue team right now does. Blue team has actually 2 defensive pinks in their own jungle, which they can probably.
Yeah, they can definitely replace those and put
they
them
can
near
replace
Dragon or
those,
Baron
yeah.
for sure. But if you look at like red team's wards, they're really defensive, and they don't give very much vision of anything of importance. They don't give any vision of the neutral buffs, and they don't give any vision of where the enemy team will be running. The only couple wards they have, I think it's down to just 2 right now. One just got placed at blue, and there's one by Raptors, and those are the only 2 wards for the red team on the map that really matter. And those are just going to get killed, and there's just not enough vision for them to really make any crucial decisions. One thing they could be walking into 5 enemy members for all they know.
Yeah.
And with the amount of beef that the blue team has, there's not a good chance of him surviving.
So Garen right now doesn't have teleport up. I'm wondering if we should be back with this team right now.
Yeah, well, they do have some wave clear with the LeBlanc double poof and the Jinx rockets. The issue is that the Meteor Cage can really stop that if they get a little bit too anxious with that. And she's gonna go straight down. She's now dead.
Whoa, there she goes.
Down some damage, but that's gonna be a pretty heavy dive. She's gonna pick up 1 kill. But that should be a inhibitor for the blue team, I believe. Warwick is definitely going for this kill. Going after the clone. Unfortunate.
And Maokai's going to have enough time to back and stop Garen from getting anything of consequence.
Oh, yeah,
he really should have been with his team there.
Right now, yeah. That's an inhib down. Pretty hard dive.
Yeah.
The Jinx just got exploded immediately. She does have the QSS.
Yeah. I feel like Garen's passive really is telling him right now to focus Warwick and be with his team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go back and I want to see if that Jinx. She QSS. I don't know what she QSS.
No, I don't think she has. Oh, she does have QSS. I thought that was. I guess Mikhail's wasn't used. Yeah, she QSS the knockup, which isn't gonna help her much.
No, I'm gonna watch. I'm going back here real quick. I want to see exactly what she QSS.
She's got to wait for that Warwick ult. I think she panicked, used it on the knockup.
She got stunned. Yeah, she like used it like while she was in midair.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna.
She's got to wait for the Warwick ulti, or stun wall, one of the 2. Yeah. Oh, Garen.
Oh, just barely makes it out. And the Maokai, if he just waited like another 1/8 of a second to walk up and Q him, he would have interrupted it.
Yeah.
Garen's still doing something on the map at least. Taking down these outer turrets will get them some gold. Gold lead still is 10k in the favor of the blue team. They're up by 4 turrets and a dragon. But getting those other turrets is the first step to being able to come back at least to some capacity. There's going to be a teleport down bottom lane. Garen versus 2 people, but then near Baron Pit, it's Warwick versus the world.
Yeah.
And even though he's a Warwick that's really fed, he's not going to be able to take down 4 people. Garen, on the other hand, might be able to survive 3.
I think you're a little bit far behind.
Am I?
Might want to try jumping to live. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I'm pretty far.
Yeah, Garen went down.
Anymore.
Both Warwick and Garen went down.
That's what I get for looking back to see what Jinx QSS.
Zonia's is better than QSS. Yeah, QSS. I mean, Zonia's might have been better in this situation than QSS for LeBlanc. I don't know. Can you activate Zonia's while you're being Warwick ulted? I think I'm not sure.
As a support main, I've built Zonia's 0 times. So I can't really tell you. Though now I probably should try it. All right, so. Okay, looks like Garen's gonna get bursted down here. LeBlanc's gonna just eat that Veigar ult, and now she's out of the fight. And Maokai's gonna try to go in.
Whoa, that hook!
That's a great hook, good flash. And Thresh is gonna go down. Alistar's still in the middle of the fight, but let's see if Jinx can clean this one up. She gets 1 kill. She might be able to get that second one if she dodges.
Traps? Traps?
Not dodges. No traps.
Okay.
She was very close to getting hit by the Event Horizon.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it looks like they were able to successfully defend. They didn't have war. I feel like when your strongest member of your team isn't there, that you maybe shouldn't be diving towers on the enemy team. Even if, because Garen was back up before Warwick was even nearby.
Now, since they've gained a little bit of leverage, what the red team should really do is sweep out their own jungle.
Yeah, they
and
really
place
need
down
to.
those wards in the middle parts of the map so that they can see the enemies coming.
Like it's actually a good idea to sometimes, where your turrets used to be, go ahead and put a green ward there.
I always put a ward like in the middle of the
yeah,
middle of the
or like in the middle
lane.
of the lane. Yeah, like that helps a lot,
good.
especially when they're pushing up against. You know, you have these minions in your base. It's a good way to get vision out there and have them just see where the enemy team is at and where you can make your picks.
In the very center of the map, when you think about it, when one team's ahead, they're going to pass through that to push down mid lane. They're going to pass through that to go from Dragon and Baron down through the river. So
yeah, Dragon's in 33
like
seconds.
Warwick's going to try to take down the Garen here. Will Garen be able to get away?
Yeah, I think Garen's going to be alright.
Yeah, it should be alright here. That's still a pretty big chunk, and the base is getting demolished at the moment from the minions.
Yeah, they're going to have to give up this dragon. It's going to be 3rd dragon. It's not that big a deal. It hurts, but it's okay to give up if you're far behind and you know fighting there will just set you even further behind. It looks like they're kind of moving towards it. I think they should just give it up.
Yeah.
Thresh. Yeah, just back off. Yeah.
It's really hard to use the Thresh as an advantage right now, since he can land that God hook on the Veigar or the Caitlyn, but on that token they can't really follow up, because if anyone on their team tries to follow, the Garen tries to follow up, the LeBlanc tries to follow up, they're just gonna get CC'd by the Alistar or the Maokai.
Yeah. Looks like they're gonna defend this mid inhibitor. That's a pretty good idea. They might be able to team fight here, or they might just be forced to let it go. Looks like Warwick's backing. So blue team has to be a little careful here. They don't have Warwick. Red team could really, if they don't really know that Warwick
They
backed.
still don't have vision in their own jungle, so they can get hit by a surprise Veigar cage, and it could all be over for them. See, Garen's gonna get.
See, here's blue team seeking out a fight, and I don't really think they should be.
Yeah. This might be something that red team can go for if they land a good
Yeah.
person, which looks like it's about to fizzle out right now.
It is.
The hook goes wide, so it looks like red team might lose this top turret if Warwick shows up.
Yeah, if Warwick shows up, he can. Just his presence will provide enough pressure for red team to back off.
Yeah, with the attack speed bonus.
Like, they know he's there. There's a ward right on top of him. They need to back off before you. Well, They just need to be very careful and be ready to save one of their carries when Warwick does ult.
And that's kind of happening. You should be able to put down the bigger cage in order to stop people from clearing out the ways. But it looks like Garen's going to teleport in and try to go straight onto Warwick.
Yeah, that teleport's a bit iffy.
I think he's trying to go after the villain, but at the same time, Warwick is just really strong. That's a good Lantern right out of danger. They might be able to focus down Warwick, but he's just going to be really slippery and just walk out of this one.
He's got the passive from his E active on Garen. Right now, Garen's villain right now apparently is Caitlyn, which is interesting.
Oh.
So he might want to be able to transition back into diving the backline, but we'll see.
I guess if it's whoever got the last kill, that can be pretty difficult to deal with. I mean, like you get this huge damage increase bonus with your damage to being true damage, but what if it's the support got the last kill by accident?
Yeah.
You know? Alright, here goes Warwick trying to backward his turret. With the Moby boots, it would have been a lot better just to walk up to and flay. Because you got a lot more movement speed on him that way.
Yep. And Warwick does have Moby boots, but the tower hitting him will delay them coming back up for a while. So yeah, walking up to flay might have been a better choice.
Yeah.
They see Caitlyn bot, and Alistar will be bot.
Looks like they're going to try for this.
I don't blame them for going for this. Oh, they're not going to go for it. Okay.
That's the mission that they're going to have, though.
Oh, they are going to. Oh, they aren't. Oh, they are. They might.
They're going to try to get this. Ooh. He's going to flash away to safety.
Warwick's flash is down. Okay, so Caitlyn and Alistar are already working their way back up. Baron is definitely out of the question now.
Yeah, it's just, even if they were trying to go for that Baron before, they didn't have the wards. Again, the same exact thing as the last game. There are no wards covering the entrance to the blue buff, and no wards on that banana bush. And so when you're going for Baron, you shouldn't even be trying to go for that Baron unless the entire team is dead. Make sure you got wards over there.
Yeah.
Because if they tried doing Baron, that would have been a wipe, most likely.
Red team really has to be careful here. They're still very far behind, and they don't know that Warwick and Veigar aren't there. So they're playing it safe. They're playing it right. As long as they have vision of Baron and they can react to it, they'll be okay. I would really like to see them sweep out this bush right here. Not necessarily that bush, but oh well. They don't have vision of Baron strictly, but they're playing defensively. Jinx and LeBlanc really need to get back pronto. There's no reason for two carries to be up there. It needs to be one, not the other.
That's something when it comes to clearing out that farm.
Whoa, Garen's being really aggressive.
He's got that cages item, so it looks like he might be able to survive that, but down goes the inhibitor for a second time. Oh, he's going to go down here for sure, yeah. Jinx needs to get that Last Whisper pronto, and that LeBlanc needs to get the Void Staff pretty quickly, because they're up against a team full of tanks, but...
Yeah, well, Last Whisper actually might not, like, there's actually not a ton of armor on the enemy team, even though there's Azonias there too, and a Randuin's. Yeah, Last Whisper would be a really good choice. I'm wondering if Blade of the Ruin King might be okay. It might be okay after Last Whisper. Because of just how much health Warwick and Maokai will be building, but but that might be more. That's a better of a 5th or 6th item.
It's just that the Last Whisper really helps, you know, those big auto attacks you get, and it's not like Jinx is able to get those like 3 big auto attacks off of somebody and get those 3 massive crits.
Yeah.
Then it might just be enough to stop to kill Warwick like mid ultimate.
Yeah. But I think blue team here is gonna really looks like I think bot lane should be their target. They might send one person up top, maybe. Whew. Maokai has teleport. I'd probably send him top to make sure that wave pushes out again. But everybody on blue team probably should focus bot lane and push up and use that Baron to their advantage. Like taking Raptors right now, not that great. I guess they can take Dragon. It'll be their 4th. But
one Crab would be a better pick than the Raptors, but
yeah. So, yeah, taking Dragon right now here would be good. Red team's being too aggressive right now. They're gonna get caught out.
Yeah. Darren's gonna be back.
Yeah, there goes
He's just gonna
Nunu.
get murdered by all that.
And bot lane is as good as gone now.
LeBlanc's still in the mid lane, just not even close to this fight, and
Yeah.
Blue team's gonna be able to chase him down. That's 2 for 0.
All blue team has to do now is push out bot.
Yeah. That's a
Nice
good
flash
cage
by
down.
Jinx,
Yeah.
but I think it's gonna
Still
be
gonna go down.
nope.
Wow, really dead. Yeah, that should be game.
Yeah, that's game.
LeBlanc is over by top lane for some reason, and it's still gonna.
Yeah, red team was picking fights out too aggressively there. I know they were trying to rush like, oh no, we can't let them get dragon. It's their 4th dragon, not 5th. You gotta let that go and just try to ward up your own jungle and try to get that safe pick. But
Yeah, the only saving grace the red team might have had there is having late game scaling with the Jinx and
Mhm.
LeBlanc. Because when you look at the team, the only damage that they really have in that late game is Veigar. Caitlyn can go down in literally like 2 or 3 auto attacks from Jinx.
yeah, but Caitlyn 6 items is ridiculously good.
It's still pretty good, but in a 1v1, I feel like she'd still get, totally murdered by a Jinx with blood boil on her.
Yeah. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and pull up the advanced details. Here, this is our final game we'll be going over, so let me get my things in order. Let's see here. Okay, I guess the first thing we could look at is wards. Blue team overall, I felt like placed more wards. You can kind of see it in the numbers. I think we
Yeah.
both identified that blue team most of the time had a better ward positioning than red team. Though red team did ward a bit, blues was just better most of the time and more properly placed. They were more. They had more offensive places for their wards. They knew they were ahead.
Blue team placed less, but they also destroyed a lot for each member. Destroyed a good amount of wards.
Oh, blue team placed less?
It looks to be that way. Or I guess never mind. If you look, I need to like total it up in my head because I'm so terrible at math. 50, 58. 75 on red team.
We're doing the math on stream here. Let's see here. +9, +31, +11.
I think that's 76.
Yes, 76 for blue, and then 12. Whoops.
What did I say for red?
I don't know.
Well, all I know is that both supports did a really good job at made a really good job of warding. 31 and 30, pretty good ward coverage. But it seems like the mid lane of Veigar, he purchased 9 stealth wards and 2 pink wards. LeBlanc purchased 1 stealth ward, no pink wards, and that's a good indication of why there's pretty much more wards. There's just one lane right there.
Blue
one
team.
person.
Blue team had one more ward.
Yeah, there we go. One more ward.
One more ward.
Yeah, but they also had how many more? Let's see, 5, 7, 8. There's the same amount of pink wards for both teams, I think, unless my math is terrible.
Yeah, and like blue team only destroyed 3 more wards. I just felt like blue team's wards were placed more
exactly.
proactively and ahead of time, whereas reds were a bit more reactive. But
yeah, there was that one point where red team had wards like near their right on the edge of their base, and then blue team was like taking dragon, and they just didn't know.
Yeah.
And then they took their blue buff, and they didn't know that either. It's just those kind of wards, those reactive type of wards are good for that kind of situation, but you can place. I'd rather if you were like a mid laner or an AD carrier, a top laner, or jungler, and you were buying those regular wards, I'd much rather put them in a place where it's not reactive. I'd leave the reactive wards right to the support, since every time he goes back, he just gets a new set.
Yeah.
So when they're sieging down mid lane as a support, I make sure I make the places, that's like right near the say we're on the we're in the red side. It's like top right? I'm not getting confused.
Yeah, I don't.
And they're sieging down the mid turret, and I always keep a ward that's like on the other side of that wall near the wolves, and I keep a ward over the wall, so I'm able to make sure that if they're trying any funny business, that we know where they are. And those are like the reactive kind of wards when they're sieging down mid lane.
You can know they're taking dragon, but not having vision of the area around dragon, you might be able to make a play off that, and you're just safer overall. That's
Yeah,
all.
I mean, if they go for dragon and you have the opportunity to take top when you're behind, that's a pretty good trade because you want to trade those objectives when you're behind.
Yeah.
Knowing that they're taking dragon and your top laner's split pushing gives that split pusher the freedom to go take that turret without having to worry.
Yeah.
Of course, there's always teleport because teleport meta, but you can only ask for so much in this game.
All right.
So you're gonna get teleported on.
So I think we're gonna go ahead and start with Maokai. He struggled a bit early on as Garen was trying to lane bully him, but I don't think he gave up a kill early on. He definitely didn't let Garen become the lane bully that he can be. Like, Garen can really become a problem in the early and mid game, and Maokai just didn't let that happen by playing a little bit safe and itemizing against him. So I thought he
did a good job there,
Yeah, he
making
played
sure
pretty
that
well.
Garen didn't get out of control. And like I said, with this Garen, you could be that lane bull and you could push him straight into his turret, but if you push down far enough, the Warwick and Maokai damage might be enough to kill you, even though they have like close to no damage and you're a Garen who's really tanky. If you push down far enough, the amount of time it takes you to get back to your turret while getting slowed and rooted and auto attack to death, is gonna be enough to kill you. So
yeah.
still buy wards, even though you're a tanky Garen. But watch out for that Warwick.
Yeah, Maokai did a good job of just playing his role. I would have liked to see higher CS. You guys can look up Horse Doctor's CS guide. He has it posted in the T4 subreddit. I might find it here in a second, but it's really good to look up and to have and to just practice getting CS. It will help you a lot in the long run. But everybody could follow that. So yeah, go ahead and move down to Caitlyn. She played very well. I felt like she was able to kind of bully a bit early on in lane, and she kept that lead up through most of the game.
She did a good job of keeping herself alive by her own means in the team fights. When Garen was chasing after her, she was able to hit the 90 caliber net and slow him and get away at the same time. The Alistar wasn't exactly peeling because he was going in there and causing a lot of ruckus.
Yeah,
in there,
I would have liked to
backline.
see a bit more. I would like to see a bit more peeling from Alistar. His engage is iffy. Once you use Headbutt Pulverize, that's all you can really do. So either pick someone or get like a 4-man knockup. But otherwise, kind of stick around your carry and try to look for that one person you can get out. Caitlyn, I also think you could really work on your CS. Maybe after taking that bot tower, you didn't really know where to pick up minions. You just need to kind of pick and be decisive with where you're going to get your farm or which objective you're going to get. Blue team kind of had an early lead and they were a little undecisive when it came to closing out the game. But yeah, work on your CS more. Try to just think of where you can grab those creeps once your opponent's lane tower is down. But other than that, she played team fights very well. She was able to evade Garen, and yeah. Good job overall.
Yeah, the Warwick was pretty much a total monster.
Yeah, he got that early kill off the invade. And did you see what happened there? Or
oh yeah, I mean, from what I saw, it might have been going by pretty quickly. But from what I saw, is that it's a good mindset to get in when you're facing against a Nunu. Is that you just expect that he's gonna try to counter jungle you. And so like he went into his blue buff bush. And he like stood there, and Nunu came down and started taking his stuff, and then he just kind of like popped out and killed him while he was trying to steal his own buff. And that's something that's probably more on the fault of Nunu for not warding or securing. I mean, you can do so much as a Nunu because your Smite Consume does a lot of damage in order to steal those buffs.
yeah,
But not having like the vision to make sure that you're not gonna get murdered is counter jungling always like makes me scared because I'm always like on alert. Because next thing I know that their jungler could just show up and murder me. So whenever I'm playing like Udyr or something like that, I'm like counter jungling. I'm just like on edge.
yeah,
Like I drank 7 cups of coffee. I'm like twitchy. I'm like, all right, is someone gonna come out and get me? I know I shouldn't be here. I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
yeah.
But you gotta steal that buff and then you gotta like book it. And you gotta make sure, like, whenever you counter jungle, it's a good idea to just kind of like to pull it into the bush, because if someone comes in through that bush behind you, you're not gonna see them,
Yeah.
and then they're gonna just pop out and kill you. And if you're in the bush, then they don't have vision on you, until they walk into that bush.
Yeah, so I
which
think
allows you to like just kind of book it away if you're in a bad position.
I think we both agree that the early invade by Nunu was a good idea. Just the execution was it was just a little bit it could have been executed better, but the idea behind it was really good. I liked it.
Yep, I agree.
All right, and Warwick, I think looking at the items you built, two of the new items, and they kind of look like they do synergize pretty well with Warwick, and I hadn't thought about that before. So,
the whole like 80, the whole like attack damage and health combo that.
And the health does synergize well with Cinder Hulk. I think I'm gonna say this again. The new items are great for health. I still would like to see like one item with resistances. So I noticed you built cloth or chainmail, chain vest there, and maybe just a bit earlier, like because 2 health items in a row with Cinder Hulk, you're gonna be really healthy, but yeah, you would be
less
a lot.
Effective health.
Yeah, it's less effective health, but I can see the synergy there, and that was really cool to see. I need to go out and test those items myself before I can really say anything definitive on them. But I thought you played really well. You ulted the right targets almost every single time, and yeah. That was cool to see. Oh, red trinket, sweeping. You have been able to just take complete control over the enemy jungle, maybe close out the game faster if you had that red sweeping trinket. And you have been able to clear objectives like Dragon or Baron and do them, whenever you wanted. I feel like if you had that item.
He did
instead.
do a good job of getting. He killed 5 total wards throughout the game, and I believe that's mostly in part from the buff from the Razor Fins. Or not the Razor Fins, the Raptors.
Yeah, the Raptors.
I'm thinking Black Market Brawl for some reason. And so, yeah, I mean, that's good, too, but you shouldn't rely on that from clearing out your rewards. I mean, I love that buff. And the best way to screw with that buff is when you put a ward in their camp, and it gets popped immediately. It's great.
All right.
But overall, good job from Warwick. Would like to see the red trinket. Other than that, good job.
Yep, and we're going to move on to Alistar, and I think we already talked a little bit about how aggressive he was in engaging for his team, which is great, but at the same time, you have a Vygar stun, a Warwick ulti, and Maokai root to start a fight for you. So you can really afford to be either the secondary engage or peel. Because I noticed Caitlyn got chased out of a fight once or twice by Garen, and she really didn't have anybody else helping her out. And you were effective diving. It's not like you weren't being effective. But I feel like your team had a lot of engage already, and so you might have been able to be more useful to your team peeling for Caitlyn, or peeling for Vygar, or even Warwick when he was dueling with people. So just keep in mind that balance that you kind of want to strike as Alistar. He really can engage really hard, but as a peeler, he's a little bit more effective. And also keep in mind the items you're building. I see the Righteous Glory. I'm just wondering if you saw the Righteous Glory also built by Maokai. And there's nothing wrong with having 2 Righteous Glories. I don't think they stack, but
once the first one runs out, you could use the second one.
You can use the second,
But there's not really a point, because once you use the first Righteous Glory, the Vigor's in range to throw it on the cage, the Maokai's in range to put down the root, or the Warwick's in range to ult. Yeah. You don't need a second one, so I would rather see the Locket of the Iron Solari build completed versus the Righteous Glory build.
Yeah. So, the Locket instead of the Righteous... Like, just have the Locket beforehand, or have an armor item beforehand.
Right.
But
however, we usually see on Alistars, they start out with the Targon's Brace, or the Relic Shield, whatever the level 1 item's called. And then once they get to a certain point, they usually sell that and grab the coin, because the coin, in some respects, is better than the Righteous Glory. The Righteous Glory is a really good item because it gives you tank stats and that ability to rush in on someone, but the movement speed only works when you're running at enemies and not away. Yeah. So it's terrible for disengage. And so when you're playing Alistar, you don't exactly need those tank stats as other tanky supports need them, because of your ultimate that reduces the damage by 70%, which is a lot of damage reduction.
Yeah, it is.
And having that coin to disengage, and regardless of the situation, if you're running 2 or 2 enemies or running away from enemies, is probably more useful than having those tank stats on the Righteous Glory.
Yeah, it's something to keep in mind.
Right. I'm not saying Righteous Glory is a bad purchase, but The coin is definitely more useful when it comes, because there are a couple of fights, not very many, but there were a couple of fights where blue team was a little bit in over their head, just a tiny bit, and red team was able to pick up some kills. And being able to just kind of like disengage and be like, all right, this is a bad idea, let's book it out of here. Good idea. Especially like you get a turret and you need to like get away quickly before Jinx gets a reset. Having that coin allows you to just get it out of there.
Yeah.
The Righteous Glory does not.
It does. Alright, we're going to move on ahead to Veigar. I thought you did pretty well. You didn't...
Like a madman.
He farmed like a madman, and he didn't let LeBlanc get an early lead on him. He played well enough to where LeBlanc couldn't get an early kill, I feel like. And so while she did damage later on in the game, it was nothing compared to what he was doing. So
yeah, that's a good counter pick against LeBlanc, being able to have that barrier and having the ability to scale and being able to use the cage in order to not die early really cost LeBlanc a lot of pressure in that game.
It did. And I like the Zhonya's build. I do like the Athenes and the Rabadons. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Ludens. I'm actually really down on Ludens unless you're roaming mid like LeBlanc, like Katarina, like I'm sure there are other.
If you're like constantly spamming out those CG abilities like Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
Like pew pew.
Yeah, I don't really like Ludens, and I might be biased in this opinion. So maybe instead of Ludens, there you could have Void Staff.
Yeah.
Especially
when you're trying to take down that the new that's tanky and stuff like that.
So farmed like a what is that emote? Cool Cat. I did not know there was a Cool Cat emote. It's definitely interesting. I don't know if I'd label it as cool, but yeah, no, you played very, very well, and you were able to neutralize LeBlanc and her effect on the game while farming that 353 CS. Really good job farming wise. Yeah, and he used his cages properly and was able to affect team fights as a whole. You're just jealous.
Sure. Alright, so moving on to LeBlanc. QSS is a good pickup, especially when you have that much, really, really hard CC on the team that can really cause you death if you get locked into a Veigar cage or a Warwick ultimate. It is pretty much a death sentence at certain points. So having that QSS is great to use. Zhonya's also a really good thing to use because just the Warwick ultimate alone will not kill you, and just the Veigar cage alone.
Yeah,
the Veigar cage alone probably will kill you if he's able to follow.
Yeah, the QSS I guess is okay on LeBlanc. I'm trying to think. I know Zhonya's was also recommended at one point, and I'm thinking at some point you just kind of be like, you're LeBlanc, you just don't get caught by cage.
Yeah, you just don't be close. If you had the Zhonya's, then you'd be able to, because the Warwick ultimate wouldn't immediately kill you. You can Zhonya's after the ultimate to stop any follow up and then poof away, and that gives you time during that stasis to think about your next.
Yeah, game. I think Peter Jacket kind of says that you need to kill Veigar before he kills you. It's really even if you were to I wouldn't recommend building much MR. Like you're like, oh, Abyssal Scepter. It's like, no, that won't do it.
Yeah, more powerful you get.
There's a recommendation for the defensive item is a QSS. That actually might be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Zhonya's would have been okay, but
Zhonya's you can't activate that during Warwick ult or while you're stunned.
But right after the Warwick ult, if you're just spamming the Zhonya's key, right after the Warwick ult ends, you're not going to die just from Warwick ultimate alone. I mean, he was.
Yeah, but the time you're locked down, it gives Veigar enough time to walk up and hit R or Caitlyn to auto. I don't know.
I get it. I mean, those team fights are pretty hectic. It's
they were pretty hectic, yeah.
I mean, one thing, the Alistar was pulverizing everything, and Maokai was in there, and
I think
Nunu was ulting, and there's a box somewhere.
I think Banshee's Veil is something we forgot about, and that would have been that would have been a good idea.
That would have been a good item.
Yeah. So thank you, Peter Jacket, for that recommendation.
It's kind of hard to judge the itemization when there's so much hard CC that kind of you can get QSS and it kind of nullifies the Veigar or nullifies the Warwick. But then if you get hit by a Veigar cage, you're still screwed.
Yeah.
Or if you get a Banshee's Veil and then you're able to get out of the Veigar cage and then you get ulted by Warwick, you're still screwed.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to judge. The only advice you could really give against that is don't get caught in Vigor gauge.
Yeah.
Which is really crappy advice because.
But as LeBlanc, you're a shifty, jumpy assassin, so work it. Be that jumpy, shifty assassin. Yeah. So yeah. I would also like to see you roam more. I mean, you might have roamed quite a bit, but especially when you build Ludens, I would like to see more roams bot or top.
Yeah, shove out that way with WR and then go somewhere else.
Go somewhere else, yeah. People need to trust their support.
Put down a ward in the enemy jungle and then kill that Warwick or something.
Well, at the same time, Mikhail's, like, you need to trust Mikhail's. And Mikhail's was only going to remove Vygar's stun and Root from Maokai. The knockup isn't getting... The Mikhail's won't do anything, and Mikhail's does not remove Warwick ult, which is difficult, you know, so... I don't mind the QSS on Jinx. I do mind it a bit on LeBlanc, but I may have recommended QSS for LeBlanc earlier in that matchup, and I apologize if I said that because I think the more I think about it, the more I think I'm wrong. So yeah, we could go ahead and move on to Garen. He almost got a kill early on in the game, and he was looking to use his teleport. It's nice to see people be aggressive with their teleports and look for opportunities to use them instead of, like, I don't know, when you watch a lot of these games, you'll see top laners not use their teleport at all. Be like, oh, yeah, I guess I could have been bot lane. It was really nice to see him be proactive with his teleport use.
Right.
You saw him go bot lane really early on.
Yeah. Alistar that's just ready to headbutt you and totally stump whatever you're trying to do.
Like you saw him use it early on in bot lane, and he was almost able to get something going, but bot lane wasn't really in a position to help, and I don't know if the communication was there for that to be pulled off. But it was really good to see, and I would say keep doing that. Keep trying to make opportunities happen with teleport.
Yeah, for sure. There's like the teleport is really strong in this meta, is because you're able to come and make a team fight, you know, 3v2 instead of 2v2, or split to take a turret when when their team is doing something else, and then use your teleport to an advantage. So
yeah,
it's really good to be able to use your teleport and not use it like me, which is just to teleport back to my turret to keep farming.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do because I'm Nasus.
One recommendation is you have like three. I don't know. You have Brutalizer, which is an offensive item. You have Black Cleaver, which is half and half, and you have Steric's Gauge, which is half and half. And I just think that one of those two items probably needs to be more defensive, because you're getting blown up a bit and you're behind, and building offensive isn't the best. So Steric's Gauge is like a half offensive weapon. It gives you a lot of health, but other than that, it's not going to give you too much defensive stats. And when you proc it, that's Steric's Fury, you get, let's see, shield, size, strength. That's not too bad. I mean, I need to look at the items, or maybe instead drop the Brutalizer, because you didn't really get an early kill and you really weren't able to.
You see the most success out of Garen's when they're either like super far ahead, and then he comes in mid lane and one shots the mid laner because he's got an Infinity Edge or something.
Yeah.
Or when they're super tanky and really hard to kill, and they just spin to win inside in your back line. And especially with this new update, doing all that true damage, it probably would have been best for Garen to go tanky and then just go after whoever the villain was, do the true damage to whoever that was, because that's a lot of true damage that's stacking up on somebody, especially when they're low, and then kaboom, ultimate giant for the sword from the sky, man.
Yeah.
Just
bam. Porge.
So build tankier, I guess.
Yeah. Porge Eaters says, "What is the state of LeBlanc after the buff?" She's fine. The buff helps her a little bit. It's kind of like, it's a lot like the Zed buff he got, where he now only has to wait 0.5 seconds to return to his spot where he ulted from instead of 1 second. It's like they heavily nerfed assassins with that one patch, and they're scaling back a little bit on it. So it's better. You can still play her plenty. Just try to, if you don't get such an early lead, like you weren't able to get a kill mid or make your presence known top or bot lane, then she kind of falls off. But she's still perfectly fine. And it was a slight buff, and so she's a little bit better. But yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, there's the conspiracy from people with the tinfoil hat society that say that Riot Games is trying to make Assassins more fun, so the game will.
Well,
be more
I do
exciting
know
to
the
watch for
buff
Worlds.
the buff for Zed on the PBE was not intended and it was a glitch. So I saw a Rioter tweet that out. They're like, oh, that damage buffs to Zed spin slash, those weren't fully intended. So we'll see what happens, but yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Can someone play the X-Files theme for me?
Yeah. I wish I had that soundbite.
Yeah, where did they get that on the softboard?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, we want to see big
only
plays.
got the John Cena.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's good enough. Why not? It's pretty...
We'll play a song here in a little bit when we cut out. But yeah, we can move on to Nunu a bit. I think we talked a little bit about Nunu already. We talked about that early invade.
Yeah, I mean he did have some good ults to try to disengage, but I mean the thing is with the people that are on his back line are just so beefy.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have an assassin. Like the blue team didn't have an assassin. That's where Nunu can do more, be more effective.
Mm-hmm.
If there's like a Diana diving in on your back line and Nunu puts down the absolute zero, the Diana's back there and she's a lot squishier than a Warwick or a Maokai.
Yeah.
And that's gonna hurt her a lot more. So, but even so, that's when Nunu's more effective. But still, good ultimates. Good time. He knew the good times to put him down. He knew the good times to put
Yeah,
down.
he ulted in good spots. I felt like his items are really good actually too. I like his item build as well. Veigar and Maokai is actually pretty. He does all AP damage as well, so the Locket's a really good pick. The Frozen Heart for the Warwick and the Kate. The itemization is very good. I feel like from.
I do like the ward
Nunu.
card. I mean, Nunu did buy a good amount of wards in order to kind of keep stuff warded. It's just that one ward at the very beginning. And then once he wasn't successful with that counter jungle, it seemed like he didn't really step into the jungle again. And
Yeah.
if he did, he saw somebody and wasn't able to do anything.
Yeah.
So.
I do like
I think
the
just keeping, if you're able to put a ward in the jungle that's able to see the enemy jungler while they're walking between like Gromp and wolves and like blue buff, and if you're able to have that kind of centralized ward and you're able to see where they are and be like, all right, they're in that side, which means I can go counter jungle the other side.
Yeah.
That's really like,
Practice more with Nunu. See what else you can pull off. I know Warwick's not a very common matchup, so. Yeah. And he didn't go Devourer, so yeah. Warwick built really well, actually. I thought he.
Yeah, these new Juggernaut style items seem to be like making teams really tanky and still damagey. So.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about Jinx next?
Jinx had a pretty good build. It's really hard to deal with that kind of CC that's jumping on top of you. The only solace is that she had a Thresh that had some good boxes to keep stock off of her. But at the end of the day, it's just all it required was like she had to use the QSS whenever she got caught out, and then to kind of like flash away and then auto attack from a distance. She had some good Q rockets to lay the damage down from the back while not dying to any of that hard CC. But I don't think I saw enough Jinx rockets.
I saw her team fight pretty well with the rockets. She tried to keep her distance as much as possible.
I meant with the Jinx rocket ultimate.
I think there are a couple times where we would have liked to see the ultimate come out earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought she played team fights pretty well besides that specific point.
Even though it's kind of like, I like to think it's like Yasuo syndrome. Like if you land that 5-man knockup and you get that 5-man ultimate, it's like, oh baby. Yeah. And same thing with Jinx. If they're all low and you hit that one super mega death rock and get that pentakill with that one ultimate, it's like, oh baby.
Yeah.
But the thing is like when you look at the end of the day, like I remember reading this one thread from a Yasuo man. It said it's much better to get that one knockup and kill that one person and make it a 5v4.
Yeah.
Than it is to get a 5-man knockup and then maybe your team can't really follow up or something like that. Because you'll get many more opportunities to kill one person than you will to kill those 5 people.
Yeah.
So if someone looks like they're about to die, they're getting like really low, and you have the chance to use your ultimate, then just try to take them out of the game.
Yep.
And then you get that advantage.
Yep. That's basically all I have to say. You farmed really well. You kept in CS, and you were able to use your rockets effectively. It's tough when you kind of have to buy QSS, and I saw one preemptive use of it. But so try to be a little patient with it. Try to save it for the Vygar stun or the Warwick ult.
It's hard to keep track of those QSSs, you know.
Yeah.
And these team fights were really hectic. The blue team had a roster that was like, you know, balls to the wall, and then so did the red team had, you know, balls to the wall, Nunu and Garrett, and they were just, you know, it was kind of like a big meatball fight with casualties.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna finally move on to Thresh. I think we saw some good use of his ultimate. We saw some really good hooks on priority targets. The damage wasn't necessarily able to follow up every time. It's one thing to keep in mind in the future, especially with how you built. You weren't tanky at all, which is fine. It really is fine. Just that you may not have to follow up and dive in on every single hook. Like if you hook Caitlyn, but she's right next to like Maokai and another person, you don't need to jump in for the flay. You can just kind of see if your team will follow up and put the damage on Caitlyn first. You don't have to be right in the middle of the fray. So you don't have to take every hook. I would like to see a bit more flays to get Warwick off of priority targets before, say, Jinx built QSS. And I kind of would like to see Ancient Coin upgraded all the way before you go on to your third item. But other than that,
that's like my one thing that I would have to say is that coin right there should be a Talisman of Ascension. Because being able, if they engage on you and you're able to get that coin off, and
especially with the Righteous
run away a little bit more,
especially with the Righteous Glories,
it's gonna be great.
Yeah,
they got all the engage in the world, but if you have that one item to disengage, maybe that one time Jinx won't die, and she might end up cleaning up. So just leave it. But that one tiny coin in your inventory is like dead weight unless you upgrade it into something. The Mikhail's was pretty good. It's a really good pickup. It's just that the fact that it's unusable if you too are getting CC'd.
Yeah.
So it's like you're getting knocked up.
Yeah,
by
maybe.
Alistar and
Yeah.
Jinx is getting
protect yourself a bit, especially when you build Ancient Coin your squishies and you went into Mikhail's right after. So you're really squishy. It's fine to protect yourself. You don't always have to be a frontliner as Thresh. You can be.
It's hard for,
around.
It's hard for Thresh people that are like playing Thresh or learning Thresh. It's like he's a very kind of like, you know, balls in champion because he's got that hook that allows him to go in and that flay is short range and the box is short range. So it makes you feel like in order to be effective, you got to be short, like in there.
Yeah.
But when you get down to it, Thresh he isn't innately tanky like other supports like Alistar, Brown, and stuff like that. He's pretty squishy, and he's more utility than anything else. So you gotta be able to use the abilities more effectively to.
Just be more mindful of your own life and use them a bit more sparingly. Just you don't have to dive in on everything. That's all.
Right. I would also let's see. It's kind of hard to recommend in this game since it's since the bot lane was very difficult for Thresh and Jinx to go up against. Is that against this team I probably would have ran with Ignite instead of Exhaust. I usually only take Exhaust if there's someone that is like super duper high damage that needs to be exhausted, like Riven or Master Yi or something that's just got like a crap ton of AD or AP that needs to be like exhausted when they just burst your face off. But against this, if you're able to get that Ignite down on like Warwick, who's like healing from auto attacks, you're able to get that one hook and ignite that, because there's a couple times where Caitlyn like almost died. And if that Ignite would have been on her, then she would have been dead. And having Caitlyn dead was much better than having Caitlyn exhausted.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to say in this game because their bot lane was pretty tanky to go up. The Caitlyn and the Alistar is kind of hard to use the Ignite up against, since as Thresh you want to be able to kill someone early on a level 2 advantage. But
yeah.
I don't know. I guess I like Ignite more. And maybe it's just my own personal bias, but yeah. Otherwise, good job on the Thresh and make that coin into a talisman.
Yep. I think we saw a lot of good play. It was just like small things that just grew into bigger things. But I think overall everybody played pretty well. And I'm gonna look up the Horse Doctor CS guide really quick as we sign off with Enya here. I'll get it here soon. I'm probably gonna link this every single time we do Battle Rain and Bronze Bootcamp. It's just so helpful. it really
Maybe
helps.
They can add a feature
Even
to
just
Lanes,
like
bot
doing
tab
like
spit out those links or something.
even just doing like 3 or 2 custom games to practice CS, you'll see an immediate improvement in your game. So guys, everybody could follow that. Yeah, CS Mechanics is your own. It's like you're having your own POG champ. You don't need to have an overpowered champ. You just need to be good at CS, and you can make anybody overpowered. Thanks guys for listening. Did you wanna add anything, Lanzolini, before we sign off for the night?
I need another drink.
Yeah, me too.
Yep, that'll do it for tonight.
Yep, that'll do it. Thanks, guys, for participating. If you have any feedback, go ahead and email Trinity Force Network. The email is on the website somewhere. I'm gonna
Feedback at TrinityForcePodcast.com, I believe.
I think so. And there's the website. Check it out. Sign up for BA there. I will be wiping the sign-up sheet here probably within an hour, and then you guys can go ahead and sign up for next week.
TrinityForcePodcast/BA sign up. Or TrinityForcePodcast.com/BA sign up.
Yes.
And then if you're in the range of Silver 5 to Bronze 5, you can sign up for the Bronze Boot Camp, which is on Saturdays.
Yep.
At TrinityForcesNetwork.com/BBC sign up.
And with that, I think we're going to end the stream. Thanks, guys, for sticking around. Always keep in mind the advice we give. We're not right all the time. Go ahead and try things out for yourself. And go out there and have fun. See ya!